Hello everyone and welcome once again to Brandeo Collection. Today we are excited to bring you another Hot Toys figure preview, and this time we're taking a look at the brand new announced Jack Sparrow Artisan Edition. Now, on top of the Artisan Edition version of this figure being announced, they also announced two other versions, which is just a regular kind of straightforward version of the figure, and then a full DX release as well. So there are three separate versions of this figure being announced at the same time this past week. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the photos that Hot Toys provided along with the announcement and talk a little bit in detail about the figure and some of our initial thoughts on just seeing these promo photos. Just to give my initial thoughts, I was really excited to see that tease that Hot Toys released the night before these official photos went up, when they were showing off that the next Artisan figure was going to be Captain Jack Sparrow from the last Pirates of the Caribbean film. Now, personally, he is one of my all-time favorite movie characters from one of my all-time favorite movie series. I do currently own a Captain Jack Sparrow figure. It is the original DX release, the first time they ever did the character. They did do another DX figure for him when Dead Men Tell No Tales initially was released in theaters. That is a long time ago. It's a couple good amount of years since then. And this version of the figure is going to be based on the most recent film, the Dead Men Tell No Tales, which, in my opinion, is the worst of all of the Pirates movies. But I do think that this figure looks amazing, especially with the Artisan Edition being a little bit more of a higher quality compared to even the high quality Hot Toys is consistent of throughout the entire history of their company. Because it is an Artisan Edition, there is that additional hair, that realistic hair that is punched into the head of the head sculpt on top of your sculpted versions kind of mixed in there. You also have, with the Artisan Edition, a actual scarf around his head. So the regular versions of this figure have just a sculpted plastic scarf, very similar to the older versions of this character that Hot Toys has made. But with the Artisan, not only do you have the realistic hair, but you also have an actual cloth scarf going across the hairs to make that extra level of realism even higher than the quality, once again, that was in those previous DX releases. Just as they've done in the past with most Johnny Depp head sculpts, this is one of the most impressive head sculpts I've ever seen. And of course, I say that a lot, even with over 10 years of collecting Hot Toys. I'm really happy to see here this representation of Johnny Depp, a little bit older compared to his earlier appearances in the first three Pirates films, but I still think it's a great representation of the character showing there, and we know exactly who it is, even if we didn't know and have all the wording there on the announcement photos. There are some additional hands to give you those true Jack Sparrow gestures, which I think is a nice little touch, even on top of, previously they had some Jack Sparrow gesturing hands in the previous DX releases, but I think that the ones that they've sculpted here actually add a little extra level of realism on top of the hands that we've gotten on the previous figures, so that really creates that next level of realism. When it comes to both the Artisan version of the figure and the DX release version of this figure, we have this special, really deluxe base, which has a captain's wheel of a pirate ship with some additional detailing there of the ocean to really add that DX or deluxe version of the figure base to both the Artisan and the DX version. Let's take a look at a comparison between the three different versions of the figure and how much they cost all in. Now, starting with the Artisan figure, which is what we're focusing on today, it starts at $495 US. That is based on the price with Sideshow Collectibles. Then when you add tax and shipping, it comes out to a total of $560 all in. So that's your full-blown, really big deal Artisan version of the figure. Now, when we jump to the regular deluxe or the regular DX version, it's at a starting point of $330 US. So you can see that big difference between the deluxe and the Artisan, between $330 on the deluxe and $495 for your Artisan. With tax and shipping, the regular DX comes out at $3 $276. And then if you want to go with kind of the basic version of the character, the regular, what is being called the collector's edition, that one has a starting point of $290. So you have a big difference there between the collector's version and the DX. It's a couple $100 there, where you have $290 for the collectors, and then once again $495 for your Artisan. So you have a $205 difference there between the regular base version and the full-blown Artisan version. And even with tax and shipping, the collector's edition only comes out to $332. So depending on where your budget is at, what your kind of version of this character you're looking to add to your collection, is really all dependent on where you're comfortable of jumping into these price points that Hot Toys has set for these different versions of the character. Now, I do think it's nice that they did give 3 different price points and 3 different versions depending on what works the best for a collector that wants to add this particular character to their 1/6 scale collection. So I think that is nice to do that compared to the previous Artisan figures, which were the Joker and Anakin, which did had previous releases, multiple releases of those characters from Hot Toys prior to the Artisan coming out, but the new versions of those characters are only Artisan editions. They're not coming out with new versions of the kind of the base figures of those at the same time. So this does add that little extra layer of collectability, I should say. Now, when it comes to the actual ordering of the Artisan figure, Sideshow Collectibles for the United States did do a release last week, and I thankfully was able to obtain a pre-order for the Artisan edition. So I'm really, really excited because this is the first Artisan figure that I was actually able to get online in time and get a pre-order in. I did miss out on the Joker and Anakin, which I was a little upset about, but I'm really, really happy to finally have an Artisan figure on order, because after collecting Hot Toys for over 10 years, I think that it's exciting to have this new direction of Hot Toys, which they are going up against directly to other companies such as InArt, who's doing these really super high quality detailed figures that add an extra level of realism with different types of real hair and additional accessories and more detail than even was available in the market a few years ago. So Hot Toys really needs to step up their game to fight off a lot of these other companies that are coming right up behind them. So by introducing this Artisan version of their figures, it really does include them to get bigger and bigger and show everybody why they've always been continuously the top of this particular market. If you enjoyed us taking a look at this brand new Jack Sparrow Artisan figure and enjoyed our thoughts on going through adding this to the collection, please remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new content. We're always doing things exciting all around everything pop culture collectibles. Thank you so much for taking some time to watch our video today, and as always, keep on collecting.